All right, guys, welcome to our live Principal Profit Trader one-on-one coaching call. We're here with a live member here who has given us the privilege to come into his world here and talk about his process and reveal the shadow, if you will. There's going to be no secrets. So, without further ado, we're going to get into this member's process and what their goals are and how they can take their current account and their goals to the next level. So, Jay, how are you, man?
Yeah, good. Thank you so much for working with me today, Matt. You and Kobe are so amazing to work with in your club, and super grateful to be learning from you guys. And I just wanted to help sort of just really dive into what I've been doing, some of the potential mistakes I've been making, and just coming up with a strategy that works for dummies almost with just to start from the foundation here, and so I can feel like I'm getting somewhere, because I've been making a lot of mistakes, and yeah, I'd like to push this further. So, um, Matt, I was going to ask you which BTC chart. I'm going to open up a brand new one. Which do you recommend one in particular out of the list for BTC?
Yeah, well, I guess the one I would recommend would be the one on the exchange that you're actually going to be trading on. Like, so would
Okay.
you have a demo account or you have a account that you're trading on or paper trading in simulation? So that would be the one. Do you know what exchange that is?
Yeah, MEXC. So I just grabbed it. So it's the perpetual futures on MEXC, because I'm doing paper trading on the
Okay.
which
Well, here's the
which
other thing too. If you have data or like TA on another chart that you were using and you want to go through your process that way, I don't think these are going to be too off for you to do that. If you wanted to go back to the other chart, because I know there's
Oh, I
nothing
got
wrong with
you. Yeah, it should be the same, right? The price action should be the same. Yeah.
it. Should be, yeah, but it's more about your process, and then just in the future you can go to this chart. Because I know you
Okay.
said like, hey, I want to go through, show you what my process is, and then I'll give you commentary on
I want
how
you
I
to
do
try
that.
to, I mean, I want to try to apply what you guys do with the runner and the four-part entry. And I want to get the hang of that, because I'm just jumping in and out with the full amount all the time because I'm being lazy about it. And I would like to memorize how you guys do it, so that way I can come into the Telegram and be effective, and I can get your signals, and I can follow you guys to a T the way you guys do it, instead of doing it my own way. And that's what I want to get under my belt here. So
Okay.
um okay, so I've got a blank chart, and so I've got my 21. This is the way I do it. This is the way I'm used to it. 21, 50, 200, and then time travel from wherever. It's I don't lock it to the chart. Um so for me, I usually go to the monthly. I start by looking at the monthly and just seeing what the candles are doing. I mean, my first um, thoughts that come to mind when I look at this, obviously, besides seeing some kind of cup and handle shape happening here, I also mark this support resistance right. No, where was it? Right here. So there's like a bottom of this candle, top of this candle meeting, and then that also it's taking it to the midpoint of this vector candle, which is right here, which I've learned about. So apparently sometimes things visit midpoints of these vector candles, so I usually mark them off. They don't always, but I kind of keep an eye on them. Midpoint.
I like that you're doing a top-down approach and you're saying, hey, I'm going to start out on the monthly. I forgot to ask you what time frame is your strategy trading on? Are you day trading? Are you swing trading? Are you
I'm trying to get into scalping, so I've been actually watching the 1 minute chart a lot, just for fun, like a bad movie. But I usually just do the top-down approach from month to week to daily, just to draw in my levels that I'm watching for on the bigger time frames, and then and then I'm back and forth between the 1 hour and the 15 for swing trading.
got it? Well, that's cool that you are looking at different strategies. It sounds like you're scalping and swing trading.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I would just say the problem for a lot of folks for the 1 minute chart, even if they call themselves a scalper or whatnot, is that like I worked with one guy who called himself a scalper and he looked at the 1 minute chart and he like took 90 trades a day. And
Yeah.
just to be honest with you, if you're looking at the 1 minute chart, you're probably always going to find a setup somewhere. The longer you look at it, I mean, that double bottom on the 1 minute might look better. So I'm glad that you're actually starting off just with your whole process with the monthly, because even from an execution time frame, I've actually don't even look at the 1 minute. I've been even advised not to look at the five. That's the lowest I go.
Okay, so you
15 and
so
five.
15 and 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sticking to 5 for a while, but a lot of the scalpers in the club, they're just like going on the 1 minute for fun, just to like
Mhm.
be able to have high action, just to spot trend, just to spot like formations and things. Like Sheldon said, to maybe do that for practice if you want, if you're bored or whatever. So that's the only reason why I open up the 1 minute, but I wouldn't trade off the 1 minute for sure. Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
the only comment about that, and everyone, there's different ways for different folks and different psychologies. It's just that I've the only thing, my experience and the other folks I've worked with, and like mentors that are world class traders, um, if I swear, it's just like if the more you spend on those lower time frames without doing that top down approach, you will just overtrade and start giving back money. Like there was a time where I was like making 10% a month, and then like, oh, next month I'd give back nine because I didn't do the daily call and realize, oh, I'm not going to trade anymore. So even though sometimes like I give signals in a channel live, and there's a part of me that's like, well, I didn't give any signals that much late in the last couple of days. There's a part of me that's like, oh, you're not giving value. And that's like the part that wants to just hyper do something. Like we all like in sales or in sports, like the more you do, you put in the effort, you grind. That sucks for trading. If you grind in trading, you're going to grind your account to zero really
Yeah.
quick, just flat out. So that's why the image you should have is not like a grinder, which our culture is a grinder. And for most things, it does, you hustle, you put in the effort. Yeah. There is a thing called trade frequency. And there's sometimes when I would put on like 20 trades in a day. I mean, like this time there hasn't even been 20 trades in the last 3 weeks
Uh-huh.
because there is the opportunity cycle so low because I'm filtering out a lot of things. And yeah, there are things that missed. Like there was that low that I almost gave as a signal and took for the ES today, but all it had was trade location edge. And if I didn't have the dog and if I was in a more hyper mode about it, I would take a 1 star quality trade. So I can give you like part of this other part of the system too, besides the daily call, which will help you in the right framework to take it, is that once you do execute, you can actually give yourself a snapshot, say, am I found the daily call? What's if I'm not, or if I'm doing something different, what's the quality rating? Do I want to take a very low quality rating trade? Or would I like for me, I needed to see a 2 star trade today for a lot of things, which is at least for the ES because it was so overextended. I wanted to see the internals not so bearish on the long side, even though there was decent trade location. That was a 3 or 4 day balance. You could have took that on that alone because there's certain rules that'll help
Yeah.
you over a large sample size of trade. So if trade location is your edge and that's the only thing, you can't just take a trade because it breaks out. That's a 1 star trade for momentum. That's a rule you can't take like a computer programming system. But you could take it in the right context, like on the bottom of a 4 day balance, but it's not required. So the 3 and 4 are. So I have this so in me that I actually am just like a computer programmer. I'm a computer program algorithm. I can regurgitate what the system does. Oh, the system said this. Did I follow it? Oh, the system is actually pretty amazing. It's just the human being becomes so emotionally perturbed that it becomes very difficult to follow it and execute in it in real time all the time, especially with this idea that I can trade every day, which can then lead you to over trading. And that's the only reason I was gonna just alert you to like some of the mistakes I've made on that 1 minute and why I don't even
I
use it.
shouldn't have even brought up the 1 minute,
No,
honestly, just
that's
because
good you did. We
having
got to know
like,
what you do. Like the monthly's great, but it's just I don't know about I mean, I know Sheldon's a great trader and he makes a lot of money, so he's doing something right. But for most people to tell them to go try formations on the 1 minute chart, it's going to lead to them. Basically, my other mentor uh, before Kobe said, "Hey, if you just practice on a small time frame, you're taking a simple mechanical setup in a vacuum with no higher time frame context. It doesn't make
right,
any
right.
sense.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
might be taking pullback continuation setups on a day that has such a high probability for a sideways day that it doesn't make sense to take it.
Okay.
But and the other aspect of that too is that you might make a sideways down call and it might just feel wrong to short, but like you just know my plan ahead of time is I'm fading that really good double top with such a tight stop. I can handle that loss because I'm going to wait for good trade location, wait for that double top. and then you could take something, you know what I mean? So that's what it kind of does ahead of time, rather than if you go on a small time frame to start and, you know. But anyway, just to get back, let's
Okay.
get back to what you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll shut up.
So
Yeah.
no, no, that's cool. I learned a lot there. Thank you. I'm just what I did was I'm marking out a spot that like I'm looking for as much confluence from the top down as I can. So I marked that midpoint of the vector candle, which is something I saw. Then I see there's that you've got like volume point of control sticking out here, so it kind of matches that area as well. Then when I come down onto the weekly, I also have it's being caught here at the 50 week moving average is kind of in that area too. So so this is an area that I want to watch in terms of like what this will be our low eventually if we come back down again. However, I'm seeing on this candle here, is it below it yet? Oh yeah, it is maybe below it, but for a while it was holding that 21 week moving average. Now it looks like it's below, right? Do you think this is a bottoming tail? Like it could just potentially go up
Well,
from
if
here?
I'm gonna, I like it. So you know, there's good factors that were isolated. So I was gonna ask you, like, how are we using that monthly chart relative to the weekly? Do they get sort of a score or a weight or directionality, and then you weight them? And the other thing I was just gonna comment on this too is that yes, this moving average and so on and whatnot, but also, um, this is a nice, this is a weekly chart.
Weekly Bitcoin, yeah.
Yeah, this is a very nice buying tail, right?
Yeah,
That
like
and that and
that's potentially going to go. The next candle could go up after this, right? Isn't that
very high
usually?
odds because this is more than
Yeah,
50% now. I mean, right? So very good. And
yeah.
it's not like, you know, this one went so up that it was almost like shit, this might be overdone. This is like ready to, it's not like it's already up here, which would even be really nice in this
Except
context because this
usually
is
we have
mature.
usually after big M's though, doesn't it tend to come down even further though? Like because if you look on the back left on the chart, a lot of times when it has this big M formation, it just keeps going down a lot further.
I
That's the only
mean,
other.
you know, right? So we have this double top, right? Which is a really strong leg down, right? And now it's at the bottom of this multi-week sideways zone that had super high odds that you take it. So if you go into accuracy-based thinking, which is what most traders do, you'll never be able to fade that because you'll think, well, what if it breaks down? It totally could. Then the pattern changes. It becomes a bounce breakdown pattern, and then you back off because once this pattern breaks with conviction, right, it tends to go 100%, right, of the range it broke from. It tends to find the next value area, right? But as it stands, this has now moved back up into balance, right? So it's not just a buying tail in isolation. It's a buying tail in the context of a double bottom pattern, in the context of a bigger picture pullback continuation pattern, right? Because every time that we've gone up here, right, we've had pretty much a quicker resolution to the, if you just want to actually scroll to the left a little bit. Yeah, you see
I
how
get a
every
little
time,
I get a little confused by the terminology just because again,
oh, sure, well, go ahead.
I'm not used to hearing them things in that
And I was
way. So
supposed to use the Socratic method, so I got to ask questions more. So what was the
yeah,
terminology?
well, just because you're using all of your lingo from your system, but
Mhm.
it's like I haven't got it memorized yet because I haven't spent enough time on it, obviously. And so when you explain some of those things with all the labels that they're called, some of it goes above my head, and I'm not retaining.
Okay,
That's
so what was there any specific labels that jumped out at you that I could go back?
um yeah well, is that like I guess I'll need to memorize those in order to follow in the channel
Sure,
effectively,
yeah.
right?
And right, a double top is a reversal pattern. A double bottom would be also a reversal up pattern, but this is a reversal down pattern. Um,
No, that
right.
stuff I know. It's
Okay.
the like, the action when you like action reaction and all
Oh,
these other
okay. Yeah.
things.
So,
You have all
me
these
calling
lingos
this
that
a,
I don't know.
yeah, action reaction is the principle that has formed this buying tail because this was a buying tail. So like previous market behavior influences future market behavior. So it was pretty just on a principle based. When you have a previous buying tail before this candle was formed, and you're coming anywhere near to like the half to the bottom part of it, you're going to start to see, potentially value buyers step in because this now has gone multiple weeks down and was at least on first test short-term exhausted. Now, do I know for certain that this has to hold and it's going to go to the back up to 70,000? No, I don't know that. Like you said, it could be this W pattern that goes down. if it didn't get this reaction and it seems really heavy and we broke down again and it's closing heavy, then we're starting to think like, hey, this is showing signs of weakness here, right? But as it stands, right, we got that action reaction. We got the buyers did defend, and odds are that this is now going to rotate up on a weekly time frame. I basically said in the channel today, like that had actually good odd. I said basically a larger time frame had, or maybe it was for the ES. I'm just as an example. The weekly was bullish, but the daily was actually neutral to bearish because it was overdone. Neutral more so than just neutral to bearish. But the idea is that if you think in multiple time frames, uh, you don't have that accuracy based dilemma as much because you're thinking in multiple time frames, and then you can weight them on the time frame that you do choose to trade on, and then it becomes not an accuracy based thinking thing, but it becomes this thing called expectancy based thinking, which is basically not will this trade make me money now, because that's impossible to know, right? It really is. I don't care how high odds it is. It's really impossible to know for certain with 100% whatever, unless you're Nostradamus, that something's going to work out. But what I can tell you is that that particular high odds setup will make you money enough of the time over a large sample size. That's different than saying it's going to make me money right now
Okay.
on this one. So,
Okay.
so that kind of hopefully that answers why like you could take that as a trade here rather than say, hey, this W inverse W is going to break down and now we're going to touch this 40 moving average or whatever you have here. Which could happen, right? But the odds are now lower because we got the action reaction off that. And that's kind of what we needed to, at least on the weekly, have some semblance of a defense, right? That's good. Especially when you look at, man, every time we've gone up here, we've kind of resolved quicker to the downside. And this time the buyers are defending a lot more. So,
Yeah.
but is this like, oh my God, the super ideal trade location to establish a core position? No. Would this be awesome for a long trader who's been really patient and doesn't like to go short because they just don't have money on the futures? Yeah, that would be, I mean, as this gone down up into this zone, and you had moving average support at very high odds for a tradable reaction on first test. If you can actually say to yourself, this has high odds for a tradable reaction on first test rather than will this be the ultimate low, it's easier to take a trade. And that's when you say, well, how to use that quad exit? Well, that quad exit then comes in by removing risk. And if you are shadowing me, maybe you could take it a half off on the second target instead of the
Okay,
financing
so
target.
that's what I got to get to. That's
Yep.
when we get to my mech C, I want you to just explain to me by how many positions I should set, and just I want to figure out how to do that so I'm not just jumping in and out with
Well,
one
just
amount.
as an example, let's say you had a resting order you drew a good this zone here, whatever this box is, and let's just say you want to just hold that shut for a sec? I'll just for everyone.
What do you
Let's
want me to do?
just, oh, you were kind of zooming it back and forth. I just wanted to, if you could just
Oh,
hold it steady because I want to
okay.
show everybody something here.
I'm gonna zoom out here so you can see everything. Okay, do that.
Okay. So if you put a resting order at the top of this box, right, or whatever, or even as it's coming into this important, very key swing low. It's just an important area where buyers really defended. So you're just thinking, wow, if they defended there last time, it could be
Mm.
exhausted down. I mean, it's not just this location; it's the fact that it's the bottom of a giant pattern, and we're
And
not,
it's like
and it's not
200K.
just the fact that we're at a giant pattern. It's also the way we got down to the pattern, which is one leg, two leg, three leg, four log, many legs exhausted down into it. It's not like we went one leg down, went sideways, went another leg down, and then another leg, and then sent sideways and rested. And it's only really like two legs down. And then if it could get a third leg down, then we could break on conviction. No, this is like down, down, down. And then on the last leg, you see the biggest I always say that, guys. If you see on the last fourth or fifth leg count, I don't care if it's on the daily or the 60 or the 15 on an odds based thing. If on the fourth or fifth leg count, the last candlestick is the biggest, that's a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of strength. The sign of strength is when the candlestick is biggest at the beginning.
So can we count these out so we can all
Yeah.
get on the same page for the leg count, how to count legs again?
Yep.
So where to start?
So that one,
Here?
two.
Wait, no, like I don't know. Can you
So you
guide
see
me
this mouse here, or
where
no?
I am
You,
now?
you don't see my mouse, right?
No,
So
just
that's why
on.
you can't see it. So um, so just move your mouse down. I mean, so the blue is your reds, I guess. So it's like you went. So
Okay.
that's one leg, and then see how it popped up. One
Oh,
leg,
I see.
two.
Yeah.
Now go down two. You're gonna go up. and 3 down, keep going, and down, down, and now pop up fourth. You know what I mean? So now this is you know what I mean? And the fourth was like this big
Okay, so
monstrosity.
if it comes down one more, that's the fourth, obviously, right?
Well, no, we're
Because
on the fourth now. If it goes down one more and breaks down, like like past that moving average a little bit, then
two,
it's a fifth leg. And keep
three.
in mind, there's an art and a science here. You might interpret it a little differently than me, but
Well,
I
hold on.
see
I'm just going by how you showed me. So there's down. So
that's
that's
one,
one, then
that's
two,
two, three.
three,
Yeah.
down all the way to here.
Well, hang on a second. Go back, go back. So three, then go up. See, I pause there,
Is it
and four.
okay, so so even though this didn't go up like the rest of them, you
That pink
still
was a
saw this
pause day, and it kind of was it could have
here.
been a revert. You see that pink one, that little
Oh,
doji
right
day,
here.
that one. Yeah, you got some. A quick question: what's your color schematic about?
Oh, here, I'll just go back to making
No,
the
I'm
move.
just curious. Did you have it? I don't want you to change it if you have it there for a psychological reason or a specific.
It's for vector candles because it shows the high volume candles as these colored ones that I'm used to. I'm just going to turn it off for now because
Oh,
you're right. It's a little annoying, but normally I just have the blues are red and the grays are green. So like blues are my red.
oh, that's cool. So you're not like against the red. That's cool because red's a pretty powerful bloody color.
Yeah, and
You
blue's
might
my
not want
favorite
to
color.
trade just because it's bright, but a blue looks nice and easy to
Blue's
trade.
my favorite color, so
Yeah.
I just kind of want to just look at that instead of red. So
Okay, I'm down with that. Yeah, but then you could see that little pink pause, like you know what I mean. So one, two, three, and then four, crazy four. Now up. Are we? So like at least you're gonna get a nice bounce on that. You know what I mean?
right. And then for me, I want to see it break this trend line and potentially retest.
Oh
And that's
yeah, right. We need to see, and the thing is that we are at a zone which previously did just that. So if previous market behavior influences future market behavior, that's why my bias turned from bearish of the last 3 weeks to actually then neutral to potentially even like bullish as this rotates up. Like I need to confirm it, but like neutral means I'm uncertain as to who's in control, but I'm open to it shifting from bearish to bullish, and that's why I would go long at that zone because
okay,
that's
so that's what I want. That was my next question. I want to set a long tool. This is what I've been doing lately that I learned in on my own. So there is doing a risk reward tool just to kind of show me on the page to get my parameters where I'm looking for. So I want to get your second opinion on how to set this
yeah.
right.
I'm definitely down to do that, but I just want to remind myself, like, oh wait, I before I was just going to go off and start teaching, I wanted to just ask. I wanted to like, what do you like? What else do you do? Like, what do you have? What else is your routine that you've been
Yeah,
doing?
this
Yeah,
is what I do next. So I mark my spots. So yeah, I wanted to just kind of get you on the same page what I have been doing so you can take it
yeah. So
further
you
from
got the floor. I just want to see more of what you do, and then yeah.
okay. So like I'm noticing, yeah, we held the 200 day and then I've marked in I like to have my golden fib zones because I've been learning how to use them. So they seem to work pretty good for me. So um so like for instance where is it? So I want to mark in from the last move up. I pull a fib like this. And then as you can see, we held the 786 in this golden zone, which it typically does a lot. So then I'll go and I'll do the same thing for the projection to get the golden zone. And so I'll take it from the top and bring it down to the bottom, which projects out a golden zone for us. So this area. So then I want to try to catch a move, ideally up, maybe up to here. So then I would, if we're lucky, but maybe like if a lot of people at scalping are only going for 1 or 2% move. So let me just see how much this is. So like say this is what I want to ask you too, is like should we find an entry sooner than later and then with a good stop loss, or should we wait for it to break above this trend line and then try to catch a move up? So it like I guess if you took it from now, like when would we waiting for your calls when to take a BTC move? So like judging at it now, Matt, where would we potentially want to set our entry for a potential BTC move for a long?
Because I'm neutral to bullish, right? We're not
Uh-huh.
confirmed bullish, like you said, till we break that trend line. But we can't deny that we just penetrated a major zone where we got a pretty strong reaction that could potentially turn us bullish. That's why I'm neutral bullish
Okay.
in my bias, which is your bias is your who's in control. Now, these aren't just terminologies that I'm saying. I literally have like an Excel sheet with these categories as weights, like a computer program would have, where you add them up and it does it for you. So the larger time frame bias, which I teach people how to calculate, is one weight that I have on my daily call. Also, I gave everybody the daily call template, which is a more is basically the minimum of it, but still works and is amazing for. I mean, I used it for 6 years before I added a bunch of stuff to it because I've been doing it for a while. And Corby's daily call is bigger than the templates. My daily call has more attributes than the templates, and we don't really, like, I don't use stochastics as much. I only use them on the weekly. Kobe has them on the day. Like, everyone has their own tools. Some guy uses an Ichimoto for his extra category. But basically you can come in and just wipe away everything you've learned and just start with these and get really good, because that's one thing. So, like, the only reason I'm mentioning that is because I know you said, like, where would the entry be and what were you looking? So, first question I have is, like, when you say entry, is your bias neutral? Like, you're open to both long and shorts because you're uncertain to
No,
who's in
I don't
control?
even know. I've never even taken a short in my life. So
Okay.
I'm just trying to get the hang of one move for now because that's too much already. Like I want to like find a strategy for just longing, and until I nail that, I don't even want a short, honestly.
Okay.
Like
Okay. So I have rules for what I would consider automatic shorts, where if it meets one of the five or more, like, obviously more than one is like way better, but at least one minimum, you can take this automatically. And then psychologically, the way that you do it is basically say, hey, this is on my system, not on me. I have to do this. So one of the things that I mean, right here would be an automatic short. So let's just go back to, I mean, sorry, an
yeah, I don't.
automatic long, not a short.
Are you
Sorry.
sure I should learn about shorts right now though? Because it doesn't stick. Like I'm not.
I misspoke. I meant to say long. So here's an automatic long. An automatic long idea would be, if you just zoom out, right? You say anywhere near this moving average, because this moving average has good trade location, because it's at the bottom of a multi-month giant trading range, which is a giant bigger picture pattern. At the same time, the way we got down there is a sign of exhaustion, because we're five. See, I'm basically doing the daily call in a flow state without filling out the categories, because I've done it so many times that I'm unconsciously competent at it. And that's where you need to be. Right now, I think you're consciously, you're aware that you're incompetent, but you're getting more competent. There's people that are unconsciously incompetent. They don't know that they don't know shit. They're just pressing buttons, and you think they're like, what? Trading? You know, you actually are like, hey, I'm trading on Saturday night. I'm working on my game when no one else is. Like, that was me. That's the right thing. So just going to those five rules is like, hey, this would have qualified as an automatic long. I didn't give it because I think this was over the weekend or something, and I think Kobe gave it. So no need for me to double it. But this was basically, as this came down into this and got exhausted, right? Well, what's today? Today's Wednesday, so it's Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. I have to go back and see what we did on that day, but the idea is that when this comes down into this zone, just based on trade location edge, right? Because trade location is the king of edges, guys, right? There's momentum based trades where you're basically foregoing trade location for momentum and bias and pattern breakage. But trade location is like, hey, I'm timing this reversal because, like, so if you busted out that template for the daily call system we have, you would go to the leg count category and you would say, oh, well, this is so many leg counts down now, it would be sideways to up, or at the very least sideways where you're open to double bottoms on the 60-minute chart, because you're open to this now reversing. The other thing too is, like, if you went to your support resistance category, the support resistance category would be overwhelmingly bullish or sideways up to up. Not sideways even, because it's at a zone that now has good odds to reverse it up, because previous market behavior influences future market behavior, because people are just looking at the chart like, oh, I want to buy there again. Everyone else did. you know. So you could see as it came down. Is this still the daily? This is the 4 hour. Oh, can you go to the daily?
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah, just maybe just keep it still just for a sec. Yeah, just so I can, so because I'm recording this, and then so the leg count down, right? As I'm going to this into a flow state, you could actually bust out that template I gave you and fill out the sheet, and then you could get what that sheet allows you to do is, as a day trader, who's someone who can make a call every day if they want to, for the purpose of whether you want a position trade or income producing trade, because what it does is it allows you to have an idea of what the next day will do as a forecast, which could then prep you to not be swayed by the variances of a counter tutor environment, which you will invariably entertain on the lower time frame. So that's why I was like, oh, you got it. So zoom. So everything I'm doing actually is on the daily. Actually, like leg. I'm not looking at a leg count on the 15, looking for a pattern for a setup. I'm actually trying to do the market context. That's what all the professionals who make money do that I know about. They go market, like just like how you started off on the Monday. So Sheldon's got you doing it right. I mean, I'm sorry, on the monthly, because we know we start out on with a multiple time frame top down approach where we go from the higher time frames out for the context, which then dictates the trade plan. But then what I also do, besides a top-down approach, I do an inside-out approach when I actually do my zones for execution with the patterns that I show you on the smaller time frame. So it's not that like, oh, smaller time frames, I'm an anti-smaller time frame guy. I just have to use them after you do the more intellectual work, which doesn't take
So,
as long. Once you do these higher time frame scans, they don't change really. You're looking at the
so
lower time frames for the rest of the day until certain, unless your context completely breaks a specific zone, which I call a bull bear zone, which then would change the context.
okay. So
But
for me
going
to
back, yep.
so with that in mind, so we've got a sideways to a bullish. So can
Right.
can can you help me with a potential entry and a stop loss and a take profit? Like this is pretty much what I'm setting up right here, and this is what I'm trying to perfect is like being able to make eyeball these calls better. So like apparently you should try to do at least 3 to 1, and you shouldn't potentially you should set your take profit maybe front run whatever everyone else is. So like if everyone's going to be like at this resistance line up here, potentially maybe just like take it a little under it so you don't quite have it exactly on it. And then I struggle with stop losses. So like I'm assuming to put the stop loss at the bottom of the last wick in case it breaks down and then that's like our
Well,
that
I would say the stop loss and all that is something like I couldn't put a stop loss for execution on this time frame because it's just too big. Like
yeah.
I personally wouldn't, this is like what 50, you're talking like, to me, you can actually
Yeah.
execute with stop losses on the smaller time frame, and you can control risk by your stop loss plus reducing your position size or increasing it as well. So but
So if I want to do this, then so maybe I'll go down to the 4 hour then. Um,
well, we are we try, so we got to so what are we trying to do? That's
in
that.
that because in next C, I have to figure out how
Mhm.
many how many entries, how many take profits, and the stop loss. And this is why I put this thing on is to get my bearings of where I want to set a take profit, where I want to set a stop loss, where I want to set an entry, and then I go on to my MEXC demo account
Mm,
and I put those values
okay.
into my thing, so it's all automatic. And then if I want to move anything, which I probably shouldn't, but then I can move my stop loss and my take profits around
Mhm.
as the game is going. But that's probably not a good idea because then you're breaking your rules and stuff, right? So I'm trying to figure out because I keep getting stopped out all the time and then it takes off without me. So
Would you say, what is your average stop loss percent?
well,
Like, you have a rule?
apparently 2 to 4% is usually a good rule of thumb.
Okay. I mean, that's at least you have a rule. Some people just do it on emotion, so that's good. I think four is too high personally. That's just because then it's like,
Anything lower, I keep getting stopped out all the time. Like I
okay,
literally
so
get
you know
stopped
what you
out
need to do?
all the time.
What are you trading?
I'm just doing Bitcoin
Okay,
perpetual
good. Okay.
trading. That's it.
And how
Yeah,
many trades a day do you take on average? Do you know?
like 1 or 2.
Okay. All right. So that you're not over trading. So okay, you're not over
I'm
trading.
just
So
trying
you
to find a way to get a successful trade.
well,
Like
here's one thing. Instead of saying, "Hey, this isn't working. I need to have a wider stop and take on more risk," you could say, "Hey, my rule to take on this 2% max or whatever, it filters out these shitty trades."
Oh, okay,
And
that's
it's a different
interesting.
way to look at it. You're thinking,
So
"Shit,
then, can
this
you
is
still, but I still want to trade Bitcoin. So how do I design a
okay."
successful
So,
Bitcoin trade? That's what I'm trying to figure
like
out.
how we were mostly like before we went into the execution, we were talking about. I was like, "Oh, what's your strategy?" I'm trying to figure. Like, I can just say my overall strategy is I basically use a daily call trade plan to come in with a top-down approach ahead of time, anticipatory, where I basically fade my key reference zones on the sideways up days in the direction of the trend, right? And go short on the sideways down days. We're fading double bottoms and double tops. That's, you know what I mean? That's very simple. I fake key reference zones on non-trending days, meaning fade, meaning I'm actually going against the price because I think it's going to reverse. And it makes sense. You would go against the price on a sideways day. But before you can know that, you have to say like, well, what are the higher time frame principles that would make this a high probability sideways day? So that's what the daily call does. So the first thing I would do is, you would go through that template I sent you. You'd say, okay, well, tomorrow, like let's actually, can we actually go to the daily time frame for Bitcoin and we'll just like, okay, we'll just see what the
I
odds
want
are
to
for
find a way to
tomorrow.
memorize this because I know myself and I get busy and I
Well,
just like
here's the thing.
I know I'm not going to
I
look at it.
never even memorized it until like almost, I've been doing this, this will be 9 years now. You can actually just fill out the template like as a scan. The first one's support resistance. The second one is moving averages. The third one is candlestick patterns. The fourth one might be just a memory, your CCI. The fifth one could be beauty principle. Then there's categories for your gut, your intuition. Um, so
Okay, so
I,
you
I
I can start filling that out if you send it to me and I mean I
well,
don't think
I sent you that when when you joined, and also I sent you that plus the Scantron, which is going to not only be for your data, but it's also going to be a journal for your psychological side where to be disciplined, you would have to fill this out on every single trade. And if I swear to God, if you fill this out on every trade, it's hard to lose money.
okay, I'll start doing that, but I mean in the meantime, how can we find ourselves a potential trade without having that filled out in front of us right now? Like is there a way that
Well,
we can
I'm kind of doing it without even looking at it, and that's fine. I just wanted you to like say, Matt,
okay.
what's the systematic approach? Because like I'm a noob, and instead of me just
Yeah.
doing it in a flow state, which I can do, you could actually pull it out and ask me each category, but it's up to you. So, but what I would do is like, so as we're closing towards the end of the day here, this is a little bit difficult for me because I'm thinking, okay, red candles are down, the blues are down, right? Okay, so we had a down day today, which makes sense because, right,
Let me
the
just change
the
that. Um, that's okay. Let's just leave it.
yeah, it's okay. The automatic fade was when we had such good trade location as it penetrated into this moving average or anywhere halfway in between because of this key swing low. And then not just that key swing low, because it's this giant pattern, which if you zoomed out, you'd see it goes even more to the left, multiple months. Exactly. And the way we got there on the daily car, the leg count is exhausted. And the candlestick pattern is exhausted because it's a buying tail. So everything is pointing towards, hey, at least in this point in time on first test, this had such high odds. I mean, I'm not surprised we had a liquidation tail, even though it was really scary to take, because this thing trended down, trended down, trended. And first, if you saw this more aggressive pattern here, which is an inverse head and shoulder, and it broke, it could throw you out. But the real one was at the bottom of the trading range. You just have to use stop losses and be psychologically prepared. I'm going to take this here. And so the next day, when this thing got the reaction, and then we had more conviction, the next day after action reaction is sideways to up, and we got that green day up, even though this is pink. Now, once we came up here, am I super bullish again for the next day? Well, no, because now the bias now has moved up into a former resistance, now broken support, where there can be sellers, can be active, basically people that are waiting to sell at break even because they got wrecked there, right? So I'm not surprised.
Where is the broken support resistance area that you're referring to right now?
Okay, see how we popped up into this? So actually, do you have a fixed range volume profile that you could draw over this sideways data to the left?
Like this entire
No, no, just from like around May.
so from around May, that
Like
would be
April to end of May, like that little like sideways range, and it has that
so
little V to the yeah, like that area, and then the
here to
sideways
here.
little thing around it.
So
No, not that much. Just from like I'll just tell you, it's like from
from here to
this like April 12th,
okay.
yeah, like there to where it launches up in that giant pink candle to the right, where it launches up all the way to the right
So from
on the 13th or 14th of May. Nope, there you go. 13th of May. I mean the
right
15th.
right
There you
there.
go. Yeah, that whole data. Not surprised, motherfuckers. Right? It's right there.
What
The
it's right
the the,
there.
the, the
Oh,
VPOC right on the bottom here.
well, this is
Uh,
the VPOC right here. Is the green one
well,
right here?
well, what's this giant thing here?
Here, the
Yeah.
white.
Yeah, it
Well, the
looks,
one
this thing
picture,
manifests. What is this? I'm not used to this one. I guess, yeah, I
no,
guess
I
this
know,
is
I
the
know.
VPOC because it's the biggest one. I just got thrown off because I'm not used to that.
Yeah, no, I know. The POC is so we have the white is the bottom of the range, the blue is the top of the
Well, I'm
range,
still
and the
not surprised, to quote Nate Diaz, because once we broke the POC up here, right, that's when it liquidated very strongly down,
and look
right?
how it's at the midpoint of this vector candle that I keep talking about. See how it's right at the midpoint of that vector candle? Interesting. Anyway,
Yep.
okay.
But the other area that you could draw for a POC that would show a VPOC would be uh, there's a lot. This would be easier if I had it, but it's a smaller fractal that I see. I'm trying to get you why there's resistance at the area you asked, and I could just see it without drawing the fixed range profile. But
But
you see how
where is the area? Is this the area? Like, is this line the area of resistance support we're talking about, where this VPOC is, or where is the what is the
it would
resistance
be
support line?
from.
Where
It
should
looks like May. If you can move your mouse to the left, I'll tell you. Stop, stop. Okay, yeah, right there. No, a little bit to the right,
the right?
right there to where it breaks out with that giant pink candle. That's the data.
I don't see a pink candle because I'm looking at blue candles. Where is the pink candle?
There's a pink panel that goes up on May 15th. That one. If you could
That one.
draw a
The
VPOC
vector
from
candle.
there to there, that would be amazing.
On top of the other one, or get rid of
Or
this
you
other
could get
one?
rid of that other one, yeah,
Okay.
because
So
that's enough to get it. What you're
from
going to see
here
is
to
that's
here,
what's forming probably the resistance that we.
from here to here, is that like the bottom of this?
Well,
Is
we
that
don't need to. We're not doing a fib. It's basically for the when we do a fixed range profile, it's over sideways data. So it would just be
so
where it's like kind of going sideways in the middle there between those two big candles. But
so
just much smaller, just like basically the right shoulder of that inverse head and shoulder.
I'm just wondering where I should put from where to where, because see, I
You
go
would
like
pull
across.
from
How do I pull across?
I don't know how to May 2nd
Okay.
or a little bit to the yeah, and then you would go over where that big pink candle is on the bottom. And technically it's more to the it's really not that. I really want you to yeah, right around there. See, okay, and now move it to the right so I
Move.
can show everybody where the resistance is, where we are. There you go. So you could see how as we're coming up into that, there's a pock forming up there, which was why it was going to be, on second test close enough where it's like anytime we go up into resistance on the next day, that's what's going to be the weight for the next day. Even though if we come back down into
Oh, I see.
support, the larger time frame bias is going to be bullish again. We're going to go long again, but
You
as
see
we
how
pop back up into the downtrend, that's why today was more of a down day as we pop back up into it. That's why
so
we
should we set a buy order and wait all the way here? I mean, what if we could get it lower though, right? Like instead of having to wait
that
all the
would
way.
so well when you what you just said basically is accuracy based thinking, which is like, well, what if we could go lower? I'm like, well, yeah, that could always be a possibility. If I thought that, I would never go long. You know what I mean?
Well, it's
So
just a shame to wait to 63 when we can get in now, right?
no, there's definitely places where you activate where you're like, hey, if it goes there, then I am going long no matter what. But it would probably be a mistake to say I am only going to go long if it gets there because it might not never get there. I'm just saying it could, but what if it doesn't? So then we got to switch our game plan. Like, what if tomorrow it breaks up pretty strong out of those two little last 2 days resistance that we've had on the 2 days selling tail, little top wicks, and we get a strong little V pattern now? Well, then you're not going to be like, well, I'm not going to go long until it goes back down there again. You definitely would go long again if it went back down there again. But now your
Okay, what about
context is, you have to change your strategy then.
okay, so what about this? Almost a 15% move potentially, 4-to-1 ratio, 3.5 stop loss if we put the stop loss at the bottom of those two candles, and if we grab the position when it breaks out and does some kind of retest or
Well,
something.
I personally, so you want to get, so where would be the entry again? Just point to it, I guess.
So we wait to get
Mhm.
confirmation for this to come through the trend line, and then sometimes it comes back and retests the trend line. In
Mhm.
this case, I can see it maybe coming down close to where we have this 618, which is
Mhm.
around where it would retest. So maybe that's an okay entry, is where the retest and the
Okay.
618 retest meets. And then, but sometimes it just flows all the way up and we don't get a retest either, right? So
Well, that's true. So, I mean, what I see, which is good, is that you're not interested in shorts. And I know you're not interested in shorts because you can't short, but
if
No,
you
I
were,
can't short. I haven't even ever taken a short in my life.
well, what I'm trying to say is just for you, when I say you're interested in shorts, that means that, hey, I'm just not going to trade long or trade at all today because the shorts have the dominance, right? The bears are in control. But you're
Right.
basically saying, hey, I'm not just going long because I want to go long. I think that the context is that the bulls are in control down in that area. So you're actually looking for scenarios that would give you a high probability long setup. So what yours is, that's a possibility. What you said, it's a pattern break retest thing. But what I would do is I would say, okay, well, what's tomorrow most likely going to be? I'm looking to go long on Y double bottoms. Like that would be an intraday price pattern
What
rather
on
than
what time frame? On what time frame
on
on
the
the double bottom?
60 is what we teach.
On
Yep.
the 60 minute.
Yep.
So 1 hour. Okay.
Because it actually represents a bigger visual, like for example, right? If you went long right now, you're not technically at the low of the day. It's very risky. But if you went back down and retested the low of the day, you know, this thing is, not that we'd have to actually see what our daily call would be today. You'd have to go and mine was uncertain, so I didn't actually trade. Right.
So our
Even
low of the day was right here then in this area. Is that right? Wait.
what's that?
So where's the low of the day?
So
On
let's say you came in, you're like, hey, today my bias is I'm sideways, meaning I'm open to going long on double bottoms and I'm looking to go short on double tops. Or another way to say it would be I'm open to longs at good trade location. I'm open to shorts at good trade location. And I know you don't short, but the way that that would work for you is then the shorts at good trade location would obviously be very important targets for your longs, right? So that's so what you would do is, and could we actually go to a 15-minute chart real quick on this?
Yeah, I get a little confused because I don't understand all
Well,
that's
I
going on.
think one of the problems is that I just became super confused is that you don't have lines on your chart that would separate the days. I think that would really help your psychology. Could you do that?
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
that for me all the time. So
Yeah,
it's
sure.
basically you got to go to session breaks and then you would add in, that the new chart would form, I guess, in your time zone.
I'm lost already. What time frame should I go on right now?
Well, you're in Central, so the new candle opens at 2000 Eastern, so that's 1900 for you.
Like, should I go to a daily chart right now or leave it on the 15?
Um, leave it on the 15. Yeah, you don't want to do session breaks on the daily because the new candle is the session, but this one you
Oh,
definitely would help you.
okay. So
15, 1 hour, 4 hour for sure. Yeah.
where do I go right now? What do you want me to
Uh,
do?
shoot, are you using a free one or a paid one?
I'm using paid.
Oh, okay, I'm just curious because I looked a little different. I wasn't sure. Okay, so can you go to right? I think it's a right click.
Right click on the screen.
Yep, and then you see something maybe settings, and then go to session break somewhere. Let's see here. I haven't done this in a dog's age here.
No worries. I've never done this.
Maybe
too.
symbol.
Time zone, precision.
Oh. Oh, status line. Let's go to status line. So let's see. Where I find it on mine is, and I guess I could pull mine up, is you kind of have, I don't know, you have like a lot of little round circles on the right that I don't have on mine. So I have this like arrow that points down. I click on it, and then I go to,
I can't see your screen because I'm sharing mine. So sorry. If I stop sharing. All these confluence, these things line up. Well, unless I just go do it manually, brother. I've done that before. I just create vertical lines manually. Like, do you want me to just do that?
I mean, oh, here it is. You go to events in that same area chart settings we were in with the symbol status line. Yeah, go to events. And then,
Breaks.
yeah, you see session breaks. Click that.
I see
Second one to
event.
the top. No,
Yeah.
not event breaks. Sorry. Session breaks to the top.
Oh,
There you
there we
go.
go.
There you go.
Oh,
Done.
wow. Amazing,
Now you
man.
can see what the next day is. So
So
Oh my God, that's
that's how you
amazing.
trade. I don't even know how you even I was
I
looking at
never knew that, man. That's a
dude, I
game
was looking
changer.
at that data and I thought that's weird. We didn't have a downtrend day today. Why does this look terrible? I'm like, oh wait, this is a week's worth of data.
Oh my
Okay, we need
God,
to
I
look at the
love that,
days.
bro. You just changed my life, even
Well,
just
you
that.
can't trade without it. At least you can't day trade without it. I don't know how you do. So
Amazing. Okay, great.
so
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 let's
yeah,
let's
so
do
a
more
wide
of
double
that.
bottom would
More
be
of
like
that, please.
there you go. So can you make it scroll, maybe stretch it up vertically?
Stretch it up vertically
Yeah,
like
like that.
that.
There you go. So not that I think today had a great odds, but if you had a sideways day today, right, you would be, fading a wide double bottom or a wide double top. But
Where am I looking right now?
you're looking at today's data, which would be from the
So
vertical line to the right.
here,
There you go.
here.
That's
So
it.
where am I looking for the double top and bottom?
Well, the double top for Bitcoin didn't happen, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Unless you faded the yesterday's high and you consider that the double top, but technically it's not an intraday double top. But even though there is a little double bottom on Bitcoin, I mean, nothing was, to me, super exciting to take for anything.
Okay.
It's just an ugly day. So I didn't give any signals or take any trades, and I'm proud of that. So there really isn't anything beautiful. So if you go to the hourly real quick, I'm actually going to rule out a double bottom right now. Go on the hourly.
Okay.
There is no double bottom today. Look, now if we go back down in the next
Uh,
hour and retest the low of the day, that is a shitty double bottom, but it's okay to take. It's correct process. Yes.
so
There.
this is
Yes. Right
right
there.
there.
It's not
Okay.
great, but you wouldn't want to take it now. At least you have some intraday edge. Like there. Yeah. Yep. And you would even cheat a little bit, make it a tiny bit higher. But yeah, you're not, this isn't a day where I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to get in. Now, yesterday into that zone that you have drawn, you would get more aggressive. You can get
Which
it a little
zone?
higher. You
One
can chase a little
underneath?
bit. And I
Which
even hate to
zone? Which zone?
the one that's like a cell shaded box that you kind of
Underneath here at the
yeah,
bottom?
yeah, that one.
Okay. That's the
Uh,
fair value gap area on the weekly. I just
yeah, I
noticed.
don't know how long. Maybe it's not a zone, but I'm just calling it that. But it's like you have a
Okay.
box there and we're penetrated it. And
Yeah.
from that reversal buying tail candle, even up into it, you could there's better odds you can take a wider stop. On a day like today where you have a very low relative volume, there's no strength in the market, the pace and price action are weak. You really just there's no edge. You just like sideline because
So what do
side
we do? What are we when do we take our next Bitcoin trade? Like how do we determine that from here?
we determine it when the market reveals a beautiful pattern and setup to take.
Okay.
The trick
So
is to sit
we're looking for
patient.
a double bottom then? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the trick is to wait patiently so you don't scare the fish when it comes around.
Okay, so timing wise,
Yep.
because I'm all over the place. So when from now, where like here, let me bring up one thing that will help my thought process for this. Whereas get rid of this thing. Let's bring up oh, it's the market session time. So this will tell me the three market maker areas in the world, their times. So like there. Okay. So like we're in a break right now, which is probably why nothing's happening. And then at some point we're gonna have Asia's gonna start a trend. UK is gonna continue a trend until the US or whatever, however
Mhm.
that works. So when is a good time for us to want to start taking a trade? Do we want to wait
Well,
this then and start when Asia and see what they do and then potentially get in if they're going up or down or
well, I would say, um,
because jumping in now makes no sense, right? We want to wait.
well, first to answer that question, I would say let's go to a daily chart.
Okay.
That's the first step I would do. And then I would say you got to get a good picture of it. So we'll zoom out a little bit.
I'll get rid of that. Okay.
And just for the sake of it, could you make them the right green and red just for me right now? Because I'm always getting
I
confused
get
with
it
it.
right now. Sure. Well, I can change it easily after. So, damn it.
There it
So
is on the
busy.
right where you go to the body, you just change the colors. You just click on the colors.
I'll just make them green and
Yeah,
yeah, okay. Green, red.
there we go, beauty.
Yeah, whatever. That'll make your life easier and then my life easier. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, beauty. Okay, so um, right, so let's just say this closed right now. So you would basically be going through that list and you'd be making, like you'd be going through daily call, candlestick pattern,
Can I
your
get that from
strategies.
you guys following in the channel, or should I get used to just like if like you guys are gonna make those calls at the start of the day? So
Well,
like
I
I
mean, Kobe gives I was giving the calls when we first started. Kobe gives the calls for the daily call
go to the
in,
red room and get the
yeah, in
call
his
for
red room.
it. Okay.
The thing is that that's giving you fish sticks, but we actually gave you the same system we used. You could actually fill that out and then ahead of time see if it matches.
Okay.
So, like, let's say tomorrow we fill this out and your plan is okay, tomorrow I'm sideways to up for whatever reason. You could maybe you're sideways down. I don't know what you're called. We'd have to go through it. I would say I would at least be open to fading longs at great trade location, right? That,
Hold on. What does that mean? What does that mean?
that means that I'm not going to trade a breakout, right? Meaning if it breaks out and there's some momentum crazy, I'm not just going to chase it and then I buy on strength and get it reversed.
Okay.
I don't think it has high odds for another down day where we trend down because we didn't
Okay.
really trend down today anyway. It was more like a normal variation day to the downside, like a weak sideways down day. Um, but I'm not saying tomorrow has to be this great breakout day. It's like, well, if there's a beautiful wide double bottom on the 60-meter chart, then that would be a lower risk setup to potentially get on board.
Okay, so that's the
Yeah.
confirmation we're waiting for typically is to so we'll look at the daily and then you'll right away jump to an hourly and see if we've created a double
Well,
bottom
just
for
to jump in.
confirmation.
Well, I hate to cut you off real quick. Like the main principle of our strategies, we actually don't wait for confirmation. So, the real lower risk setup, right, was, when we penetrate into the major zone. But now what we're trying to do is we're trying to find, and this could just be a wide intraday double bottom price pattern, something low risk that we can get on board in the direction of what we think is going to be a potential bullish reversal at this major support zone. But we're not just
Okay.
going to jump like, timing is everything. We can't, like, let's just say you got super excited yesterday. This is actually a good idea. Like, can we actually like scroll the data? One, like maybe about a one, two, three, four, five, six candlesticks back from yesterday before you, like, if we actually go, yeah, so like we can't see that data and then move it a little bit to the right. And
Oh,
then
I see.
and stop. And then go a little bit to the left. I just want to get that candlestick that pops up, like right there. Let's just say like you missed that reversal, like you knew about the major zone rule and you knew you should have went long as it penetrated into the major zone on first test, but then you missed it. You're like, you know what?
I'm already lost. How did we, can you explain this day when we would have gotten in and everything? Like
Well, you would have
uh,
got in when it got so close to the lows of the multi-month trading range on the daily chart, which would then constitute it as a major zone where you basically have to take it. Plus, it was so at the end of the day that at that time the trend into it was getting reversed anyway. It was like towards the end, it wasn't like it was in the beginning or in the early afternoon. But but going back to what I wanted to show you before, could you go back to that one spot in the chart? I just want to show you this one principle.
right
Yeah,
here.
like right there. Like, and then can you actually make it seem more vertical? So there's some direction, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Yeah, okay. So if you miss that nice hammer candle into that zone that you have or whatever, or any
Where
kind of like,
candle? Which candle,
nope,
brother?
it's three sticks back. It's the lowest candlestick on this whole page. The lowest candlestick on this page. There
Oh,
you go.
exactly.
The
Yeah,
hammer
yeah.
candle, right? When you
Oh, okay.
penetrates into that zone on the daily, that's
Yeah.
when you get the major move off of it. You're looking for something to continue it, but I'm not just going to trade a breakout and get excited because look what happened if you just traded the high of the day and you just like, oh, this thing's going to reverse. I'm just going to get in anywhere. It actually went back down on you. Look,
Where did it go back down?
you see where we are to the very most right,
Yeah.
and then now scroll to the left. Yep, scroll the chart to the. Can you hold that? There you go. Scroll the data to the left. No, I mean to the right. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I guess we went up a little bit, but then we went down. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You know what I mean? So the only point I wanted to make here is like just because we're at a zone that could potentially reverse us doesn't mean that I'm going to get shitty trade location and just buy a breakout because we've been super bearish. So it's not like we're just going to start trending and pure trending and have higher highs and higher lows. More likely,
Oh,
it's going to be like sideways, pause, go down a little bit. Like it's going to be a battle. So you want good trade location, if anything. So if this would be the best setup, right? If this comes back down and retests that key swing low that we were just at, anywhere near it,
yeah.
that would be such a great long again.
Would you
Like if
want
we
to
were,
wait? So you don't necessarily want to wait for it to start curving up. If you see it touch it, you might try to catch it at the
well,
low.
what we teach at PPT is we don't wait for confirmation. Like so, like if you just drag your mouse down to the lows, I'll tell you when I would get in. Like the price come down, come down,
Like
keep going,
further
keep going, keep going. No,
down.
this is the ultimate wide double bottom. I would tell you again. Keep going,
Oh yeah.
keep going, keep going, and like when it gets into that key swing low there, where that
Oh,
hammer
because then
tails.
so this is the double bottom here,
That's
and then
the
a
super
bottom.
wide one. The one you would take today is a little shitty intraday one that I skipped. I'm not taking it.
Where is it?
Exactly. You can't even see it because it's so the rule for the double bottom is we got to wait at least 30 minutes
Is
minimum.
this
Like,
the area where we're thinking of? This
yeah,
is the
yeah, the
bottom,
double bottom would be
not the
right
bottom.
there. It's so small, you're like, is that even a double bottom? Exactly. So it
Well,
doesn't
I
have
don't
as
see
good.
it at the bottom. So isn't this just one bottom so far? Because it came down and
Right.
curved.
Yeah, I'm saying if that retests that again, that would be your entry today. But it's
Yeah.
so small compared to that big one I just showed you. It's like I'm not as excited to take it. You know what I mean?
Okay, so if for some reason this breaks down and we come down here again, that would be the time and the considered
Heck
a double
yeah. What
bottom.
you don't want to do is like get so burnt out with the like little intraday shitty ones today that when it does get to that area, if it does, that you're so burned out you don't take it.
What if it doesn't though?
Um,
Like what if it just does the double bottom here and keeps going up or
well,
something?
then we'll live to trade another day, brother. We'll make another call, we'll get in. See, that's abundance mindset, right? You
So
can just
how do I jump on some live trades with you so I can get practice actually getting banger entries and stuff like
well,
that?
when the
So,
opportunity cycle's high, I was trading the ES hardcore between like 7 to 9:30. And then 9:30, the open, I would be given the tick reading for that. That would be all morning. I'd also be hardcore trading Bitcoin and Ethereum at the same time, given also a lot of
not for
altcoins.
me. I only want to focus on Bitcoin. Like I don't
Well,
I'm really
when I'm
finding
active, I'm more in the AM into the afternoon. And Kobe
like
is West Coast time and he covers like PM and nighttime.
like what time of day should I wake up so I can catch you in the channel and almost just start asking
Well,
questions when the trading day
I mean,
starts? So
that's tough because
get some
I know
entries.
it's tough to say, but everything I do is basically I'm letting the market almost dictate my life a little bit. And right now, the market's like, hey, you traded a lot, stop trading,
Okay.
relax, rest. There's not the opportunity cycle isn't as much. You know
But
what I
I
mean?
want
For
to catch it so I don't miss the next one. So how do I catch you so I can get in the next time and almost I like almost get in a like I'm only paper trading. I'm not even using
I
real.
mean, one thing you could do
I
is,
want to get an entry.
I mean, read the channel frequently. I pin my signals in my channel, so important messages or signals are pinned, so you can go right to those. You know what times I'm more active, but just in general, this would be a time to like work on your craft, your skill set, hit the weight room, and not take as many, in my opinion. But there is
Okay,
going to be like there is going
I
to be
don't
good
want to
trades
miss
though.
one.
Like if you
I would like to catch one with you in real time and try to learn what it feels like to get a banger entry and not this just winging fucked up stuff
well,
that I've been
I
doing.
give well one thing you could do is you could go back and you could study all the trades that I pinned and then just wait for the next good one that I post, which will hopefully come as soon as the market
So I basically need
presents
to
one.
so I basically need to just like be on that channel like all day long to just make sure I
Well, I
don't
mean, as much as you can, as you comfortably
Well,
can do. Yeah.
I want to learn how to get in on an entry the way you would. This is the whole point of this is because I'm not doing well and I want to learn how to get
Well,
that entry like you.
in the daily call, um, every single call except one gives you an entry rule, whether what to do and how to do it. Like it'll tell you if it's a momentum, if it's a trend day, you'll have a trend setup that you would never take on a sideways day, which would be location based. However, there is that joker card that people forget about where they don't make that call, which is the uncertain call, which is the rule for that, which is the hardest rule because like part of me is like, oh, Matt's not giving signals, but like my rule today is uncertain. I do not trade. That's the hardest one to follow because you'll feel like you're not doing work,
Well, I mean, I honestly,
right?
bro, I spent months not trading. I just really want to like I want to get some work
Well,
done.
then here's what will help you. If you redefine what trading is, the execution of the button is the last thing the professional would think is actually the trading. So you could work on doing the market context better, doing that template. Basically, a lot of life's work are in that template where you could just learn it quick and stack it. You could add that to your game. And then you could say, hey, I am going to trade, but I don't need to trade every day or every week to be a consistently profitable trader, you can listen to those audio tapes on patience because that's the hardest, actually, the most
I know,
professional,
but
hardest
it's
attribute of a
still,
skill to develop.
I get that, but it's like I do know patience and I don't overtrade. And the thing for me is like like the nitty gritty of like when you do have a move, I want to catch it and learn what that's like in real time and not miss it, right? So
Well,
I
I
guess
gave
it
you, yeah.
like I mean also it's the entries and the exits. Like I still need to learn, like you're explaining how you do this in the channel, but I'm not following. Like you set 4 entries, or sorry, you have 4 exit points and you're leaving a runner and all that stuff. So like I would like
Well,
to be able
there's three. There's three. There's the entry, which is the first, then there's the financing target, which is when you take half off. That's your first one.
Yeah, see, this is not going to stick unless I either write it down or program it at the same time. That's the
Well,
thing.
I actually have it programmed into a API trading bot where I just post it as a text message into my
Like,
Telegram channel, and it
like
does it all for me. Because
should
I
I
would
just
hate to do this live.
no, but should I type? Can I just type it out now so I remember it? So how like because I'm gonna go like here. Let me show you an example here.
Mhm.
Let me go and share my Mexi screen. Hold on. Share screen. Let's do desktop. Sure, I have nothing to hide. Okay. So here it is. You can see my screen. Let me
Yep.
know if you, yeah, you can see my
Yep.
desktop. Yeah. So we're in demo trading. And so let's go to BTC
Yeah, like show me what
potential.
your last trade idea was, and we'll analyze it.
I'm in one right now. So I'm in a 10x long where ETH that I got in, but I want to trade Bitcoin, not ETH, but I'll just tell you what I have going.
Okay.
So I had gotten into this yesterday or the day before at an average price of 32.91, and I did a 10x long with what was it? So I did like 300 or 500 bucks or something on 10x. So I could do, so it looks like my position is, yeah. So I have a $5,000 position. So I've already made 113 bucks on this position since yesterday. And I've lost some money on this account because I think I started with 1,000 bucks. So, oh, it looks like I'm back over 1,000 because of ETH moving, which is cool. So,
Good.
right. So yeah,
Quick
so
question. Just so
yeah.
this account you started with like 1,000, right?
I started with 1,000. I took it down to like 875, and now I'm back up
So
1,050.
why don't you pretend this account is anywhere from like something you can believe you can like 50,000, 100, 200, even a million, $500,000.
Well, see, I wanted to start with 1,000 because that's realistically what I would start with. So like I don't
No,
want
that's cool that you're starting with 1,000, and that's fine. But could you actually just pretend, even if you're starting with 1,000, that it's actually a $500,000 in your mind? Because if you did, I don't think you would use a 10x long.
oh, I see.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because that 10x stuff, that extra leverage stuff, I know because you have a small trading account that it's more fun and it's like, what the hell's the point of making 3% on 1,000? But
Yeah.
if you actually made 3% on your $1,000 and you can make 3% a week every week, I mean, you'd be one of the best traders in the world. And um, you could get funding because you would show your
So how do I
stats.
pretend? So how do I pretend that this is a different amount when I'm looking at this on my
Use your
screen?
mind's just your mind's eye, like just because when I
Um,
was paper trading, I didn't have even a demo account. I just like actually kept those Excel sheets and added it up in my mind and pretended what it like. Just felt, I just did my stats with my accuracy, my reward, all that stuff.
okay.
And in my mind, I had a huge account, because if I didn't, then I would basically say, well, it's only 500 bucks. Why don't I do a 10 or 20x leverage and make something fun? But then that's actually not what we do in our strategy that we would teach because it's just, if you had let's say you had a nice $100,000 account where you're like, dude, I can make 1 or 2% a day and like make a living at this. You know what I mean?
Okay, so just guide me on a move here with what we have. Just like a hypothetical situation, because this is what would help me the most. Because just for me to figure this out in real time with you, like let's just say, okay, so here's our bottom, and we might do a double bottom. I'm on the hourly right now. This is not TV, but the MACD chart, of course. But so we do. Let's say I want to figure out how we would set up like the proper entries and maybe the proper leverage. Like you're saying, don't use any leverage, or should I maybe use like 2x leverage or like?
Well, I mean, this is like what you got to do what's comfortable with your goals. I'm just if I was going to teach like our professional methodology, I would be coaching you to imagine that this paper trading or small account that you're practicing on, which you have to do, you can't, is going to be your, your 200 grand account, your 50 grand account, your 100, whatever
I
you're
get
going to
it,
get it
yeah.
financed by someone, whatever. So you want to
So
show
for
good
now,
data.
like I'm trying to survive essentially here. I don't want to remove this ETH trade because it's going
No,
relatively okay.
don't. Yeah.
So I have available margin at this point. Let's just pretend because this could be my real money. Like let's say this was real, my real $1,000 in my futures account, and I'm only left with my margin of 375 left here to work with. So I want to put that on some kind of X of leverage just so I can get a little more out of it. So this is all I have left to work with for a Bitcoin trade. And
Well, I
let's
mean,
and that's real.
one of the thoughts that I had in what we would do, because there's so many unknowns,
Yeah.
is that without questioning, what that first entry in the quad exit does is it takes your risk out of the way. Now, granted, Ethereum is looking like it's making a nice little potential bottom here, and we might get a rotation up. But if you were following this quad exit strategy, you would have already taken profits at the high of today, which would have been around like 3,412,
See, I
which
don't
are
know. I don't even understand that. We gotta get me to learn that
yeah,
properly.
yeah, all that is basically saying, hey guys, when do I take my profits? I generally will take my profits at the next resistance zone because I'm a day trader. I can get in every day. I can
That's what
swing.
I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, and
Okay,
then I
so
can use the runner to swing into something, right? But generally speaking, because remember I told you that there's decent odds that we could go get a double bottom again, but we're not really 100% sure on that
okay.
bigger, like the double bottom from 2 days ago in Bitcoin, which is the same for Ethereum. Because that possibility is present, if we did do that, your profits in Ethereum would evaporate because you're holding for a bigger move. And so the quad exit takes that unknown. Like, do you hold for the bigger move or do you watch your profits evaporate? The quad exit says, why don't you do the best of both worlds?
Is that automatic though? Are you setting it automatically?
It's
So
automatically programmed in, but I set my targets
okay, so I want to
discretionary.
let me show you how I do that here. So we open along. So let's just say hypothetically, let's say we want to set like maybe let's say if it comes down for that double bottom that we're trying to look for potentially, maybe we go what like 67.13 as a limit order to maybe catch it when it hits the bottom again, and then with a stop loss, right?
I
If
mean,
let's
yeah, the trade location would be much better. The price pattern would be more of a retest of a stronger area, and that would be a much better long than longing now.
Where
I'm
should
not.
where can we set a like, cause here, hold on, a quantity, we're gonna do 3,000 position, which is 300 on a 10x. Let's just, that's what I want to do. I'm getting used to 10x. So,
Okay, I mean, you know your position sizing on these leverages more than I don't really do
no, I
them.
know you don't use leverage, but I'm
Yep.
learning leverage from Sheldon or whatever. So,
Mhm.
I'm trying to because I have to be able to work with him and he does leverage all the time. So I got to get that
No, I
skill
mean,
on
yeah, that's cool. So you're doing a $3,000 and you're doing a 10x.
a 10x on 300. Yeah.
Oh,
So I
on
have to
300. I'm sorry, not
I have
3,000.
to,
Right.
so I have to enter in the position size and then the price that I want to, and then this is the price that I want to set for a limit order. But I'm trying to figure out how to do scattered limit orders and scattered stop losses, which I have not figured out yet. So I hit this long take profit stop loss area,
Mhm.
but I don't know how
Well, I mean, one
set
thing we would do
set
to
those.
execute is we'd want to execute on a lower time frame. But I mean, generally speaking, you put your stop behind an invalidation point in the market structure where your bias would change. So clearly, right, if we broke with conviction, the like where you have that 6,700,
Mhm.
that would be an amazing entry point. But let's just say keep going down a little bit,
I want to let
keep
me.
going down, keep going down. Stop. You see, if we broke, stop right there, a little higher. Like if we broke that other key swing low to the left,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
that would
Okay.
be like, oh shit, this is breaking a fractal to the downside. This could start a downtrend easily. And then that would
So
go, and then that could go test that that nice low from Bitcoin from 2 days ago, which is why I would say for your Ethereum trade, if that probability or possibility is something you're thinking about, wouldn't it make sense to take some profits in Ethereum now? You know what I mean?
I see, I set an automatic take profit point on this. Like if we go, and I can't figure out how to do several. That's what I was hoping to figure out today as well. But see, uh, where's the, so I have a stop loss of 32.40 and I have a take profit of 34.98, which is what I had marked in on my chart. So, I mean, we'd have to go to the Ethereum chart. So as you can see, I have a take profit up here that I'm waiting for, which is up around this area. That's where
Mhm.
I'd set profit. And then this was my, I guess, what was here? Where was my entry? I don't remember. It's not saying. Stop loss is down here though, if it invalidates this low. So that's how I had set that up. Again, I don't 100% know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to wing it for now. But I want to focus on the Bitcoin though, just because I want to try to set something for us to see, just to see how it plays out for curiosity purposes. So
I mean, I guess the best way to be would be, you know, if you want to put an automatic order in now, you know,
yeah.
then you got to follow one of those 5 rules that I wrote in the channel, right? And you want to do it for Bitcoin. So you want to put it, you know, if we have time frame alignment or if we have a major zone, if there's a bigger picture pattern, those would, without question, make you say, hey, we have to, um, you know, take this. And, you know, so an automatic order for, you know, and the thing is that we've rotated up that you might need something intraday to get in, which would say, hey, I need to fade an intraday price pattern, double bottom, because it might not go to this major trading low where we revisit 58.44, you know, 422, which would be an amazing uh retest of this of that key swing low, right? I mean, even if we got
We might
down,
have to do it we might have to do it manually, you're saying, instead of set a limit order?
well, what I'm saying is that rather than set it now, I would, you know, you want to kind of do that daily call
Okay.
and, you know, assess what the call might be because you might need to get in or not get in. You might need to get
So
in.
can I get your call though? Like if I pay attention to the channel tomorrow,
Yeah.
can I wait and
Well,
see
yeah, I
what
mean,
you call?
Corby will publish the
Like,
call. You know, you might have already done it for tomorrow. You know, you got to go check. It's usually publishes it tonight.
okay, let's go look.
And I'm just going to tell you whatever I am. I'm looking to go long tomorrow because
Okay.
just for the simple reason that we are in the bottom of a multi-month trading range with the understanding that this thing could obviously like bounce around in this area. I'm looking for good trade location because things have been so bearish. But the idea is that we are still at the bottom of this multi-month trading range that, you know, if the bulls gain traction here, that's going to rotate us back up to 73,000 again.
So where can we set like I want to figure out how to set a take profit and a stop loss, but I can't figure out how to do several. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's only giving me one take profit and one stop loss, whereas I would like to figure out how to do the quad with you guys so I could like take a partial
Well,
profit and
yeah,
stuff.
I mean
Is
the
that out
crazy
there?
part is like I actually
Index.
I only execute the quad exit ahead of time for cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. But when I trade the ES, I should use a quad pre-programmed, but I actually don't. I actually
Well, I
just use
won't be using.
I use the
I'm
quad exit manually. But
I'm
I
only
mean,
doing Bitcoin,
like
so
right now, like what time frame are you on right now? You're on the
like let's just do a practice run of like just to get me in a swing. 1 hour.
you're on
I'm
the
on the
hour.
1
Okay.
day. So like maybe should I set a limit order for like somewhere down here to see if it would catch on a double bottom perhaps or
Well, I mean, we have to see what price does. There would be nothing that I would want you to set intraday now that's automatic for me. But obviously, if we got to anywhere between like, for example, on my zone that I've drawn from 58,562 to 59,100, anywhere in that zone or even slightly below that lower range, because I could redraw to get the tip.
so you like
That's an automatic long because that's a super wide double bottom retest.
59,000 maybe I should set as a
Yeah,
limit
actually,
order?
I'll just send you this. I'll send this chart in the channel right now for everyone and for you. I'll just send it to you in private. Like it's basically that bottom blue zone, and you could
Right.
stretch that bottom 58,962 down a little bit more. You could even have it like,
Like bring the trend line down further like
well,
the
let
50.
me actually let me make it a little clearer for you. I'll get rid of the mid zone one. I'll resend this now. check this out. Yeah, I sent it if you want to. There you go.
Oh, okay, I see. So you grab the liquidity from this candle here. That's the zone.
And if it comes back down there, that's, a wide double bottom that could potentially attract buyers again, because not just because of that pattern that we see on this like 3-day time frame, but because if we go out to the daily, that's the bottom of a multi-month trading range.
Okay, I get that. Okay. So, okay, so with that in mind, brother, so let's
So
say
so your resting
51,
order, let's say you have that zone and you're like, shit, I don't know if it's going to be at the top of the zone, the bottom. Because presumably like some of these resting orders can be placed while you don't even have to be actively scanning like while you sleep, but it does require a leap of faith. My rule is this: if you're very bullish because we're at support and you're going long, then you would put your resting order at the middle to the top of the zone, anywhere in there. If you not as bullish, you just
so
itching for good
59,
trade location, put it to the middle to the back.
so 59,000, do you think, for us for an entry price for a limit order? Is that in between the two, between 58 and or no, or lower? Or should I just set a limit order for 59 and
Oh, I'm
ride it down?
sorry, I had it on mute. I'm sorry. The rule I have is that, if you're feeling pretty bullish, I would put it towards the middle to the top, like you said, like 59. And if you're feeling like, hey, like I'm bullish, but I need to be bullish contingent on superb and excellent trade location, put it towards the back or at the very back
Of what? What does that mean?
of the zone. So like if you were feeling like you want a great trade location because you're not as bullish for whatever reason, it's not at a major zone for whatever,
I don't know
then
what that means when you say great trade location.
great trade location is, and the way I'm defining it is at the back of my zones. The two lines constitute a zone. So that last chart, good trade location.
The most competitive spot, like where you get it at the lowest.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah. It's not that at the top is bad trade location. It's just not as good. What would not like, let's just say you buy something that's not at a zone, that price is just going squiggly in the middle, then it has zero trade location. You have no trade location edge and you broke a rule.
so where could I set a limit or like this thing? Can you see what I'm on my screen here? Like it's giving us one spot to put a limit order in for one amount. I can't even do scattered orders for some reason
Well,
on there.
keep in mind,
Like,
I never execute like this ever, hardly. I'm pretty
well,
much,
so
but
what does that mean then? So I wait until tomorrow and then set
well,
this limit order?
you could put this limit order in now. If you so you pick your price. So if you wanted at 59,000, that would be more like guaranteeing you a fill rather than more towards the back. You just would not have as good trade location. So if you
Let's say
that's okay though.
58.9 then. Let's say
Yeah,
58.9 or
that's
something.
there's no right or wrong with that. It's just
Okay.
it's based on how your aggressiveness
You know what?
to get
No,
in.
I'm okay with, I'm not that
There you go.
aggressive.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, 50, you're a 59 guy. So
Yeah.
so
Let's do
then
that.
then your stop would be, you know,
Or stopping.
if you were really conservative, it would be 590 points back,
So how do what
which would put you not even beyond 58,392. I would put it at 57,800. Like in
57?
more towards, more towards the back of that, more towards the next zone, but I don't want it at the next zone because it's too wide and you should be awake and like get in again if you want to, rather than just take a super wide stop because.
So what I'm going to do is on my chart, I'm going to mark that because that's the best way for me to stay on it and know what I'm
Well,
doing. I'm going to go like this.
yeah. And keep in mind, like, an active based strategy will always win out. But if it comes back down there, then you should buy. So you could put in a limit order. The only thing that limit order might do is that it might freeze up your capital if you want to get in a different way tomorrow, if it doesn't get down there.
Well, that's what
And
I'm
keep
trying
in
to
mind,
figure.
it could get
Well,
down there and then it could just fail and we're wrong. And you have to be like, just take it on the chin, buddy. Like that's the hardest part about the day trading thing is you got to take it on the chin. But
57 what? What was it amount?
I
57. What was
I like I have it at like, I'd have to, let's see, I'd have it at 57.8,
800?
just giving it some room right beyond that swing, but I don't want it so wide where we're at the next key swing low, which would be at
So that's a
56,
that's a
at
2%
57.
stop loss. That's a 2% stop loss, which is pretty much what I
That's
like
my
to.
max. I mean, technically I'd want it a little tighter, but I'm giving you that you're more of a 4% guy, it seems. So I'm like, all right, well, we'll go two for our like, the principles that we recommend at Principal Profit Trader, you got to adapt them to what you feel comfortable with too. So, if you want to go a
Okay,
little
so then
wider,
where should we set our take profit on this bad boy? So we've got an entry, we've got a stop loss. I need to set a take profit, a first take profit. I mean, I want to learn how to do
okay, so
multiple.
the really rule is like, where's the next trouble area, right? Where you would find sellers that you would want to reduce risk,
Like up
right?
here,
And then the answer
5%.
really is that, you know, the first key reference area would be the real main target, but you might have some problem at the VWAP first, and that might scare you. So sometimes you could take half off at a VWAP, which is like a midpoint indicator, but you can
So if I
also,
wanted to do that, how the hell do I do that? Like, I mean, I'm trying to figure out how to take multiple profits, and I can't seem to figure that out on this program. And it should be, and I don't know if it's because it's in demo mode and whether it's, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I should be able to do multiple. entries and
yeah, I
profit.
mean, I could put you, I
Can't
have a
figure it out.
technical advisor that helps me with any execution problem. I could put you in touch with them,
Well,
but
no,
yeah.
it's just it's a software thing. I have to figure out on this platform how I can go in and do multiple take profits, whereas we're only getting one. You know what I'm saying? Like we open along here and
Mhm.
we're not getting any options to do multiple take profits. I'm only seeing one area to do
Yeah,
take
there's
profit.
definitely ways to do it. You'd have to create
We'd have to create several
yeah, some
orders.
kind of spread thing. Yeah, the thing
Ah,
is like if I had done this and executed this way, I'd be able to help you, but I never do it.
that's fine.
I don't execute on crypto exchanges. I use that API, and then I have an associate who I call
And
up
this
and
is
I
the
tell him.
only way. This is the only way I'm going to be able to do it for the next little while because this is the only exchange I can
Well,
use.
unfortunately, it seems like you can't use our strategy here unless you find multiple ways to take profit. Um, One thing you could do is does MEXC have a support like a live chat?
No, I can do it in Mexi with real money. Like I know that if I did it with real money, I know that everyone else is doing that. I know people
Well,
are
I'm
doing
not
it.
talking about real money. I don't know what that is. I'm talking about they can help
But on
you with your orders and to have a quad exit so you can have like multiple targets maybe.
No, I should be able to if I use real money, but
Oh,
because I'm in the demo trading area, I think maybe that's why it's restricting me from doing stuff
yeah, maybe they're like making it more simple. I don't know why they would do that though.
yeah. So anyways, I'm gonna have to learn simply because I'm just not willing to
Well,
spend a
one
cent
thing you could do is
until I learn
if
this
this is
stuff.
all about practice for you, you could just use that Excel sheet that I sent you as part of your membership, where you basically would just fill it out, and then the sheet has the mathematics already built into the formulas, so it just calculates it for you. You know what I
For
mean?
now,
So
I guess
yeah, if you want.
let's just if we got to do it in a simplified manner,
Well,
let's pick a take profit spot. I
I
mean, this
would
is not
say if you got in there, the absolute latest, like I would want to reduce risk at that key swing high, which would be from
there.
around 61,694 to 62,188, which is basically I have the bottom. It's like two zones I have drawn that I would just, anywhere in those zones, I'm taking profits for sure because it's basically like the last key swing that we've had from yesterday.
Where's the key swing on
Oh,
my
right there, you're touching it. Boom.
right here?
Yep.
So 62,000 maybe.
Yeah, that would be a really good trade if for to finance. If you got in at that zone that we drew and you took half off at that, or even went all out. Not that I want you to go all out, but you could manually, you could like not put a target, and then you go to market and just hit half off. Then you could like that's how you
How
could
come there
manually do
must
it.
be a way to do that here? You know what I mean? Like you're
Well,
seeing my.
you could just not do a limit order on the targets.
What
You
do you
could just
mean?
like use your market order to take half off, and then you could just manually do a quad exit. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's do that. Okay, so
The problem with that though is like you would only be able to set your entry and stop, and then you'd have to manually like do the targets, which is cool.
okay, so hold on. Let's just hypothetically. This is what it gives you. So
I
we're
mean
on
that's
10.
what I do for the ES, brother. I mean I don't have anything fancy
Yeah,
like
so I'm gonna have to potentially learn that. So here, look at this screen. So margin used, so that's our own money in the trade, 300 bucks.
yeah.
Isolated 10x, so we've got a 3,000 position less fees, so 2,997. Stop loss at 57,800. First take profit at 62. So what I could, okay, let's confirm and see what happens. Orders,
So the way that works is that the 300 USDT would be the actual money, the real money, but they give you like
yeah,
3,000 to play with.
exactly. And then they just give you a portion of your profits from like you get accelerated profits because of that leverage, but
Huh?
you don't obviously get like a ton of it or
You
anything.
also
You
get
get
accelerated losses, of course, too, right?
much accelerated and the
Yeah,
liquidations and stuff like that. Yeah, it's
right.
risky stuff, but
I mean,
uh,
it's tempting to try, but I'm like, oh my God, that would be crazy.
Well, no, Sheldon has got it down to a science. I mean, he's the guy makes a killing on leverage, and he's got these leverage techniques where he's like taking margin out and putting it back in and then into other trades. And like the guy's like a leverage wizard. I've never seen anything like it, and he's
Damn.
really
Well,
successful with it. Yeah, he's crazy, man. He's like some alien or something. I've spent a lot of time with him, and he's a really special cat. He's on some other level for sure. Like, when you meet a rock star and you're like, and they're like, there's just something kind of like spiritual about them that they just like have some kind of magic that they just can't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? Um, it's kind of similar to that almost like there's just, and maybe it's just because of the hours he's put in. Like, I'm not trying to like brag about him or anything, obviously, like, but I'm just being real. He's obviously put in like hundreds of hours into leverage trading. So it's a little bit mind boggling. But yeah, everyone in the club who's doing leverage trading is getting wicked out all the time, right? Like when there's like a liquidation event, everyone's getting wicked out. I think you're muted. I can't hear you.
yeah, yeah. I was just listening.
Oh,
Yeah, well, that's why I stay away from it personally. I know what I do, and
I know other people who stay away from it as well, like other professionals who wouldn't touch it leverage
well, I
either.
mean, my account is over 6 figures. It is, so it's leveraged. Enough. I don't
Well,
need
you,
to
you don't
put
need
three,
leverage,
four
I
extra.
guess.
Yeah, I mean, I would be scared. I'd wipe it out on one bad day. It'd be like, oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
and
no,
I'm
can't pay
seeing
the
that
bills this
all.
week.
No, people are doing that all the time. So I just don't understand. Obviously, Sheldon has got it down to some kind of leverage science that he's able to maintain these
Yeah,
profits. So
yeah. Sometimes a strategy is hard to teach, and it's just easier to do.
yeah, like he just has some kind of knack
But I
for
mean, I'll
this.
tell you, I mean, if it can't be implemented, it might be a great strategy that he can do. But if it can't be adapted to a mass
No.
audience, you got to ask yourself, is it even feasible?
But how do I like I don't want to use leverage, honestly. I'm trying to learn how to do it just so I can keep up with the club or whatever, right? Because it's like everyone else is doing leverage and like I'm trying to make sure I know how to do it because I have to like explain it at some point, right? As a teacher there eventually. So um but regardless of the fact, like we only have $300 to work with here, so that's not going to do much. Like I'm gonna have to they let you import more for this paper trading. Like I can import more of a balance, but I just don't want to because I want to work with what I have first until I lose it all. You know what I mean? So I just know where I'm at, and I just want to keep going with this equity I have right now. So that's why I'm just for fun doing it on 10x. But
Well, no, I hear that. And just one comment about that leverage trade you're putting on, like that automatic order would be great if we got there. But for example, we are testing close to yesterday's lows, and it's making it like an intraday small double bottom. So this isn't as attractive as if it did get there. But it
should
would
we
not
take
be
another closer?
it would not be incorrect. No, well, I wouldn't put if you went long right now, it would not be an incorrect process. It would just understand that this is an intraday day trade that you'd be getting into. It doesn't have as good odds as if it went down and retested that buying tail that we talked about. But it's our, I'm just giving an example how an automatic order doesn't preclude you from taking a trade that is not an automatic order that you'd have to see some other things there, for example.
So
So
what if we took a half order, like if we did $150 from my 300 capital, we did $150 right
well,
now.
if you
And then
put it in, you'd
the
have to do it right
150
now because this you're already kind of late. That's how quickly this stuff could turn. You know what I
No, I
mean?
get it. But so now would we do an order there and then maybe set another order to try to catch one down here as well and go half and half or something?
I mean
Should we,
that would be 100% correct process because if you are
let's
sideways
do
on
that.
both, you'd say I'd have to take this on, and if it fails, I take the other one, and then I'm okay with them both failing. You actually imagine them both failing to be okay with it because that's a possibility, but they probably won't based on the odds. You know what I mean?
So
That's
should I
why we're
try
taking.
that as an idea just as a practice run right now? Let's do
Well, I
the
mean, it is correct process
question.
to do. I don't want to tell you exactly what to do. I'm just telling you that's correct process. It's up to you what you want to do. I'm letting you do it. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm teaching you how to fish. I'm saying here's the principles. I kind of gave you a hint that it could be a double bottom right now that you could take. Obviously, we're a little late, but it's not completely terrible. It's small enough risk where it's not a big deal. And if you get stopped out, it's not such a big loss where you'd be like, oh, I can't take the real one. You know what I mean? Then I would be like, oh, don't take it. You know what I mean? But the
Okay,
cool
so
thing about the principles is that it definitely empowers you to make these decisions because it kind of filters out the good from the bad. Like this is that by far the best looking long on the day. I'm still personally not going to take it because I'm going to stick to my call and that's more important. But if I was trading today, I would not be upset if I got stopped out on this one. You know what I
okay,
mean?
so I've got it order in now right now for half of my capital for this move right now. Let's just say so it's like a $1,500 position on 10x.
And
And
this is fake money, right?
this is fake money,
Okay,
yes.
good. All right. I didn't want to be
Yeah, yeah,
responsible
yeah.
for your losses. Yeah.
No, no, no. I'm
Yeah.
doing I won't even touch real money until I master this fake money. So
Good. Yeah. You get like
um,
100 trades, 200 trades, and you
exactly, exactly. And I'm literally just starting this week on real trades. Like I'm literally like I've been studying and studying for like a year straight here. And
nice.
I'm too afraid to take any trades because like
Dude,
I
that's exactly what I did. I studied for 2 years before I actually
yeah,
looked at like moving charts and took real
yeah.
trades. I just
And
read the
now
principles and
I'm literally just starting paper trading now and I'm like 2 years in. So it's like, you know,
that's good because that's a foundation. Most
so it
people
what
don't have the patience.
so what kind of no, because I literally this for me, this is like building a new music career.
Did you
Like
go
I'm
long yet?
I did already. So I
Oh,
need to
good.
set a
Okay, good. All right.
what stop loss should I set? I'm in the trade.
Okay.
What should I set?
Well, you tell me based on what we said. I'll the Socratic
Well,
method.
this was our old stop loss when we were going to buy it lower. So so now I'm gonna have to go in and
Like right, like 1%, right, would be like 609 points down, right?
hold on. I have
And
so we took the trade now, which is at 6,900 was where I set Marta right there. Let's just say there.
so yeah, I mean, even if like even 65,557 is below like this swing low and like yesterday's that little key swing low, it's something for structure, and it's still like
It's
um
0.5%. So
yeah, it's less than 1%. It's perfect.
that's
I mean, you
okay.
could yeah, I think so.
And then for a take profit, I still have 62.5, which is okay for our take profit here.
Um,
Or should we go lower?
that's because you have such a tight stop, that is pretty high. That'd be such a good risk reward. 62.5 would be no, that's actually I don't know where you got that from. That's a little too high. That'd be like actually
Okay.
not good trade location.
Let's
Um,
pick.
I mean, if you a risk averse person, like I get risk off quickly so I can breathe. So like how I would do it, and it's not, and I'm not saying I'm the best way to do it because I trade on full size, is I would go 61,387. Conservative would be the half off point, but another place you could do it would be at 61,694. But you would take off at 61 minimum 694. Your second target could be at 62,188, and then you could have a runner that could be set artificially higher in case it runs.
That I don't know how to do, so I have to eventually figure that out.
Well,
But
here's the thing how you're going to execute it. You're going to go, when you decide to take half off, you're going to have to go in and do it manually and go half.
yeah,
And then when you want to take your next 25% off, you got to, this is how I do it for the ES, by the way. I have to go in and hit half. And then when I decide to take the last 25% off, I just go exit all out. And I really
okay,
only, yep.
okay, so let's set our take profit the highest that we want it, and then I'm gonna go in and make another marker at a halfway point where I'm gonna take my first profit. I'm gonna eyeball this all manually. So where should I take my highest? Where should I put my highest profit on this move? You
You
think?
mean your runner?
Uh, just
That's the one that
ultimately,
goes the farthest. Are you
because I'm gonna sell a partial profit halfway through the
okay?
move up,
So then
and then
let's do
have a
let's
final
just
here.
speak in terms of the quad exit for everyone. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take half off at you see where it's what I would do, and it probably will break this, but it's just the idea of can you
I'm
handle
gonna
it?
make horizontals to mark out all the
You
spots.
see
So
where it's you see where anywhere between the blue and on your chart, the two blue, purple, whatever that is, moving averages,
yeah,
you could take half off, but bare
where?
minimum, it would be at the swing high between 61, bare latest rather, 61,694 to 60, I'm sorry, 61,694 to 61,816 would be a good financing point. A more conservative one would be, you really should add this below the
No,
volume weighted average.
give me all four. Is it four take profits? Is that what we're marking up? Four take profits?
Three,
Three. So
right?
give
So
me
the first
start
one,
from the
if you
bottom.
want, do you
And I'm
want the
gonna mark them all
conservative
up.
one, or do you want to be a little bit more risky for your first
I want
target?
to start with realistically, I want to start with the first jump out, then the next jump out, then the next jump out. I'm going to mark all those spots on my chart so I can memorize, so I can know when to go in and
Okay,
sell.
so
Where's the
you're
first take
you're
profit?
Well, I have to. Do you want to be conservative with your first target, or do you want to be okay with a little bit more of an extended one?
Uh, I'm risk averse. It doesn't matter to me. I just want something that works.
Okay, so
So
you just answered it, risk averse. So you're going to take your first profit below the VWAP instead of holding through it, and that's going to be conservatively at 61376. And then when
7.
that happens, technically your stop should get moved to break even automatically.
Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna mark that in. So this is TP1 bring stop to break even.
Yep.
Okay, so I got that marked for reminder. Okay, and let's mark our next 2 spots.
Yep. So the next one
Yep.
is at you could do we'll hold through to the high of the current day. You could do like 62,188.
Close enough. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. And then your runner, we could let
Okay,
that
wait, hold
suck
on. Sorry, let me make a note of this. So this is called TP2, and how much are we taking off here? So
25%.
so okay. Well,
Take
how I
off.
thought okay, I see what you mean. So this
Yeah.
first profit was also take off 25%?
Well, the first one we take off half,
Oh,
50.
so it's 50%. Okay, got it.
The
That's what I'm
second one we take off 25, and the last one we take off 25, and that's 100. But the way you actually would do it on your screen is you would take half off manually the first target, and then when you want to take off your 25% for the second one, you just go half off again. Because half of a half is 25.
Okay, so we're just gonna do two then, not 3. Is that what you're saying?
Nope, we're gonna do 3. The runner is gonna be set artificially higher,
Wait,
and
okay,
you
hold on. Let me go back to number 2. So take profit 2, we're selling 25% at that point. Is that correct? So do I have
yep,
these
yep,
break even, sell, or sorry, bring stop to break even, sell 50% manually at this first entry. Then the next is take profit 2, selling 25% again manually there. Right?
correct.
Okay. And then and then our third one, what do we
The,
do?
the third one is like we call it the runner, and that's because we really let that sucker run.
Last 25%.
Yeah,
Okay.
put that one at 72,000.
Oh, I see your
Then you
madness.
don't
Okay.
care about it. You're like, oh, I'm not saying like if it gets to 70, you can't go a little early, be greedy with it, but let that sucker run. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay, crazy. So we'll go 70. I'm gonna go
And I'm
719.
not just like putting that target because it's the runner. Like that makes sense logically because that thing could get to the 72,000, which would be the highs that we were at 3 weeks ago.
Take
But
profit
we don't care
final.
if it does because we already took off our risk, A, and B, we took some more profits for fun, and then now we don't care about the last part, and we have multiple chances to get more runners in on the next days. You know what I mean?
Okay, so ultimately, I'm gonna bring up this tool all the way up to our ultimate take profit point, which is right here. So ultimately, but then the stop loss, our first, okay, so I mean that's a pretty that's a 30-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, for the runner, right? That's crazy,
Yeah.
and you can get those. Like that's why Corby's average runner ratio, I mean, his average reward to risk is 7-to-1, which or 6-to-1 or something like that. It's actually cartoonish and hard to believe. And
Well, if we
the only
like
way
if
it's possible, hang on a second, the only way it's possible is because that running position gets to have such high risk reward ratios, like you said, like 30-to-1.
like this is only 2-to-1 or just under 2-to-1 for our first move that we're
Yeah,
making.
right. The first one we do take off quickly 2-to-1 to get action reaction. We take off the risk quickly. But I asked you if you wanted to go a little bit higher, and we could. It depends on your psychology. And the second one is like, oh, that nice one you take off. And then your third one is like, let's just let that sucker run. We don't care. We forget about it.
So this is like 3.68 to 1 on the second one, and then the final one's a 30% move. So, right, here's our first move, a ratio 1.44 to 1. Second move, 3.68 to 1, and then the final runner move is 30% move. Okay. I should have put this on the end, but I don't want to move it because it's set up nice. So that's an okay kind of like vibe for now, just to kind of get it. Okay, so then So then let me just set our first setting and then I'll do the rest manually as we move in tomorrow. So our stop loss is at 60. Where is it? Hold on. And then that should be good. 60. What is this at? So that's 65.45. So stop loss 65.50 maybe is good. And then we're only selling half, right? Is that what I did? Yeah, that's half the position. Okay. All right, so then I just got to monitor this into tomorrow and then manually take off.
Now,
So
just a heads up there. I mean, we'll see what tomorrow could bring. Like I said, there could be something that's more intraday. We don't get there, but now if you get there in the overnight session with a quick whipsaw down, you're going to catch it if that's idea holds valid. You know what I mean?
what do you mean I'm going to catch it? What do you
Meaning
mean?
because you have a limit order already set, you will catch it while you're
No, I'm
sleeping.
already in. I don't have another limit order set yet, so maybe I should
Oh,
do
you
that.
mean you're in the live one? I'm thinking. I'm sorry. I'm
I'm
talking
in the
about the.
live ones, but should I
Yeah.
go in and try to, should I go set a second limit order? Let's do that actually. Hold on. Let's do
You
that.
mean
Let's,
the one on the bottom? I mean, yeah, you could. You know,
no, we're
you
gonna set a second order to catch that one on the bottom. What were we trying to catch? 58.9 or 59? 59, right? 59,000 with the rest of our capital. So that would be what do I have left here? So available margin 224. So 224 on a 10x is 2250. So
yeah.
2250 position on 10x. Take profit will be the same. Stop loss. Well, this was the original lowest stop loss. So for our next move, should we keep our stop loss the same, the tight one at 65.50 for this
Is
one
that the
too?
one? Is that the last one that we mentioned?
Oh no, that's the one from the current trade. So we're gonna maybe leave the ultimate stop loss low because this is we're gonna try to catch this
Are
second
you are we creating a new trade at 59,000?
exactly a
All
second
right.
trade.
So the other stop loss has nothing to do with it, right?
No, so we set a new stop loss for
Yeah.
this move.
Right.
So this should be the original one you wanted at 57,800, I think is what you said.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying. It's a little. 57, 8. That's a little wide. Would it be? It's at 2%, right? You could go
Uh,
wider there because you have a. It's a better odds. You know what I mean?
let me just set this trade up first and then I'll go in and I'll fix it. So
And you could go a little tighter if you wanted to. You could set it at like 57,975.
average entry price. So how do I see open position, open order?
Even you could go 58,144 if you want to make it a little tighter. Then you can monitor it tomorrow.
I'm just trying to find it because I set it, but I'm not seeing it now.
Oh, you got to cancel it, the old one, or you're gonna just keep it, I guess.
I can't even find it. I set it, but
Hmm.
it's not showing. So unless I go to, no, I don't know where the order went. I did set a limit order, like I hit open long. Oh, okay, let's do this.
Open
So
orders, two of them.
I don't see the second order. I had this open, oh, open order. Well, one's ETH and one's BTC. These are the ones that are going right now.
Oh, there you go.
But I was trying to set the second one and it
Oh,
didn't. So let me try this again.
okay.
What happened here? So we've got price of 59 for our second buy with the rest of our capital,
Hmm.
which is 2247 at of 10x, which would be the 224 at 10x. Estimated liquidation is 54,000. So if we get a wick into 54, that would wick us out, and that's where everyone gets hurt all the time on those liquidation events. Stop loss 57,800. Confirm. Balance insufficient. Okay, that's the problem. So we're gonna have to do less. So let's do a $2,000 position and do the same thing.
100x.
Successful. 100x. Okay, yeah. So now we've got another order in here, and let's go in and check our take profit settings. Price. Oh no. I guess it's, oh, here we go. Take profit settings. So again, 62,000 to take profit. So what should we set our stop loss as? That's where we didn't figure out yet. So let me go back to my chart. So 59,000. So for taking our next move,
You had it at 57.8, which is okay. It's like you said, 2%. If you want to go a little tighter, that would be totally fine. You could go a little tighter. You could go 58,184. You know,
Hold on, I'm gonna make a new
58,273 be all right.
because we're getting in. I'm gonna set up a new position for our next position here. Hold on. So we're gonna do a tool beside it, and this will be 59.
Because then I got to take these boys out, brother. We'll wrap it up.
Yeah, you can call it a day after this. I got my computer's about to die. So 59, and then we're taking it up again to say up to our high point here for now. And then so stop loss 2% right now. So that's 1.5% at 58,268. So where do you think we should set our stop loss if we come in at 59? My screen.
If you want to make it a little tighter, you're coming at 59. You got to have it. I mean, it's a wide stop, but you could go 58,116.
I can do 126. Okay.
58,062 would be okay too.
This is a 1.5. That works for me. 1.5%.
Yeah, that's within our rule for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So 58,126. So I'm just gonna reset this. Where is it? 58,126. 58,126. 58,126. Confirm. And that's all set. So we got 2 buys ready to go. And then I'm gonna manually do the quad exit and see how I do with that tomorrow and the next day or whatever it takes to do all that manual quad exit stuff. So I'll let you know how that goes.
Well, good luck on your trades. It's looking like they might finance. They're looking pretty good so far, and hopefully
I'll
this
let
was
you know
helpful.
how
Yeah, man.
these, yeah, I'll let you know how these settings turn out. That was super helpful. Like for me to be able to do that with you guiding me in real time, that's like exactly what I was looking for. And I learned a ton today, man. With
Dude,
you.
thank
So
you, man. Yeah. Thanks for letting me record this. I'm gonna post it in the channel and like keep everyone
can
updated
I
on these trades, man.
can I listen to it again just to get some of
Oh,
your
dude, I'm gonna put it up on you. I'm gonna, if it's cool, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna put it up on our PPT YouTube channel so that you can have it and other people can listen to it and learn from it.
perfect. Awesome, man. Okay, well, win-win, and looking forward to following the channel tomorrow as this progresses. Thanks, brother.
All right, man. Thank you very much, and stay warm in Canada, man.
Okay, brother. We'll see you soon.
Adios.
Later.